Hello, and welcome to my sports biography. In my sports biography, I'm going to go over my years of participation in sports, as well as give some factors on playing said sports, and some athletes that I look up to in the world of athletics. Alright, so to start us off, we're going to have to go way back to when I first started participating in sports, which was around the ages of 3 to 6. In those years, I was playing sports like learning to skate and starting to play hockey. I would play soccer, and I would also participate in gymnastics as well as swimming lessons. I would play soccer for Glanbrook House League teams, and for hockey, I would play for Glanbrook and Stony Creek House League teams. I don't remember where I did my swimming lessons or my gymnastics. That was so long ago, so I don't got a clue where I did those. The next age category that we are going to talk about are my 7 to 9 years of sports participation. I would end up retiring from both gymnastics and swimming during this time, and I would continue to play hockey and soccer. I would balance these two for a couple of years, but hockey would end up becoming my main sport, and this is where it started. In this time frame, I would continue to play house league hockey, and then I would eventually play on my first rep team called the Glanbrook Rangers. As for soccer, I would continue to play house league at Glanbrook, and then eventually, by the time I was 9, I was playing on the Hamilton Croatian Club, or playing for the Hamilton Croatian Club a year above my age group. But that's not all I did in that age group. Where I went to school for elementary, grade 3 was kind of the year where school sports started. So you would start to do cross country and track and field. And I would continue those throughout elementary school. Track is a bit on and off, and cross country I end up retiring from, but more on both of those later. It was also in this time frame where I would start to train outside of just the rink and the field. I would start to put in work outside of these to better myself as a athlete and as a person in general. And now we hit the double-digit year 10. So when I was 10, I continued to play hockey, but I played for a AAA team for the first time. AAA is the highest level of hockey, and I played for the Hamilton Junior Bulldogs. I also continued on playing soccer a year above my age group with the Hamilton Croatian Club, and I would continue to dominate in both track and in cross country. Now, moving swiftly on to my preteen years, my years of 11 and 12 years old, I would play hockey for the Glanbrook Rangers and the Hamilton Huskies on different seasons, respectively. And the Hamilton Huskies are another AAA organization. Then, for soccer, I played one last year for the Hamilton Croatian Club, and I continued to run track and cross country. I do end up retiring from hockey at the age of 12 to focus and pursue hockey because hockey became my main sport and it's what I wanted to focus my time on. But I do come out of retirement for a one-day tournament in my grade 8 year to play goalie for the school team. And that basically gave me the Top Athlete of the Year award at my grade 8 graduation. For the ages of 13 to 16, I focus a lot of my attention on to hockey. I played a second season with the Hamilton Huskies and then returned to the Bulldogs and played for the Hamilton Junior Bulldogs until I was 17. This is also the time frame where I started to put in more work outside of the rink. I would roller skate, I would play roller hockey, I would play games that would make me more versatile, like spike ball. During the off seasons though, I continued cross country and track and field. I end up retiring from cross country after graduating elementary school, Track, I took a bit of a 3-year hiatus because of the virus that locked us down for 3 years. In this time frame as well, I would also play a year of flag football while battling some injuries. But this would ultimately foreshadow my eventual switch to playing football. Now, as my 17th year rolled around, I was playing my last season of hockey. I played for the Hamilton Junior Bulldogs, and I ultimately retired from minor hockey and junior hockey after that season. Yes, I played junior hockey. I AP'd for the Brantford Bandits for 2 games, and they were the worst team in the league at the time. But when I retired when I was 17, I had played hockey for over a decade at this point. I then went on to play a full season of school hockey, finally for the first time, and I would make my return to the track where I would have great success, win 8 medals, 6 of them gold, set a PB of 10.95 in the 100 meters, and get recognized by multiple universities. I would also decide to dip my toes in football, where I would not last long, as I would end up tearing my ACL. So now I am 18 years old, recovering from a ACL repair surgery, and I am considered probably now to be a sprinter for track and field, a part-time football player, and a semi-retired hockey player. As I am wanting to return to high school for a grade 13 year, I'm looking to play the sports that I didn't get to this year because of my injury. So I'll probably hopefully get to play a full season of football, one last season of school hockey, and one last trip to the track for my secondary school. Unfortunately, this is going to be the end of my participation in sports for now, because I'm at a point where I can't say that I've done this, and this, because, well, that's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting to return to the track and go to OFSA, baby. Let's go. Now to talk about why I played the sports that I did. In the early days, my parents would put me into various sports to see which ones would stick with me. Those sports would end up being soccer and hockey, as I played them for the longest amount of time. My mom played soccer when she was younger, which would have factored into why I played soccer. And my papa played hockey, which would have probably explained, or what would have been a factor in me playing hockey, or getting started into hockey. As for football, it is a bit of a different kind of story. I played hockey for the majority of my life, and it was my main sport. I was trying to go somewhere in hockey, so that's part of the reason why I decided to retire from soccer. But my dad did play football when he was my age, so there was always that football kind of aspect and factor that just never came into fruition. It came into fruition eventually, just a little bit later in life. Coming into grade 9, I think it was the 3rd or 4th day of school, and my track teacher starts to scout me for the track team, and one of the coaches of the football team starts to try and recruit me to come out for football. And I do go out to train for junior football because it was in the spring, but then COVID. Throughout my high school career, the head coach of the football team was insistent on me coming out to play football. Eventually, I decided I had enough of hockey and I was going to give football a try. And the rest is history. As for track, there was no real kind of factor, other than I was fast and the coaches wanted me to run. My parents also dabbled in a little bit of track, but they never pursued it. As for factors that affected me playing sports, I was lucky enough to not really have to deal with anything like that other than having to give 100% in whatever I did. The only type of real conflict or factors that I had to deal with were more internal, like injuries, internal conflicts, and just getting treated poorly. I was lucky enough to not have to deal with any negative factors like gender inequality, financial hardship, etc., those types of things. And I really only I came from a household where all you had to do was give 100% effort and be active. Those were two of the things that I had to grow up with, and I think they kind of shaped me into the person that I am today. And I also promised my mom when I was younger that I would always be active. I've grown up in a world where it's promoted to go outside, be active, play some sports, and all those kinds of things. But in high school, specifically in Ontario, you're only required to take one physical education course. Where the average weight is increasing and it's being promoted to be healthy and active, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to only have one required physical education course. It makes sense to only take one if you're training outside of school, but if you're not, then I think you should be required to take at least one every single year. When it comes to participation in sports, there's really no factors that hinder me. All I want to do is put in 100% effort into sports and anything that I do. And that has been brought through me at a young age from my parents. I do tend to be too hard on myself and expect more than what I get. I hold myself to a higher standard, and it's crushing sometimes when I don't get the marks that I want or the desired outcomes. To finish off this sports biography, I'm going to finish off with some of the athletes that I look up to. I would say that the individual that has had the biggest impact on me is the jabroni beating, pie eating, trailblazing, eyebrow raising, if you smell la 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 la, what the Rock is cooking. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has had the biggest impact on me. This is because Dwayne made a name for himself after only having $7 in his pocket. He put in the time, he put in the work, and he is grateful for what he has. In terms of track, I model myself after Andre DeGrasse. After all, he is Canadian. So is The Rock, but he's like half, I think. But because Andre DeGrasse is similar in height, I try to model how I run after him. He holds himself to always be better, and he always tries to achieve the best for his country. I try to do the same, but at a smaller scale. For me, it's more achieve success for the school, because I'm not as fast as him, yet. And that's going to bring us to the end of my sports biography. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you learned something about me today. As always, remember, work hard and stay humble. We'll see you in the next one. See ya.